Page 7, Ode to Joy, a very famous melody by Beethoven. Let's see, I look it over, it's a page long. Now, it's longer than that with the repeat signs, but there's only a page of music to learn, and that's really what I'm after. Treble bass clef, no sharps or flats in the key signature, so that we're in the key of C major. We're playing all the white keys unless there are accidentals, and there are. We'll cover those at the time. And 4/4 time signature. First, one hand at a time, make sure I know what each hand is doing. The right hand starts here and puts the hand here. I don't think we're moving around. I think we're right here. 1, 2. They're all quarter notes. It's just simple. Till you get to measure 4. And 1 and 2 and 3. Yeah, you got the dotted rhythm there. That's, for the most part, that is the right hand. Third line is a little different, but you can work it out, I'm sure. Left hand with here and here. So you're here, sort of, to start at least. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. They're all whole notes. You hold them down for 4 counts. Okay. And the end of the second line is the same rhythm as the right hand. 1 and 2 and 3. So this comes down. That's the same. 1, 2, 3. Third line. 2, 3, 4. Now I want you to play the same note with third finger. Scrunch up a little bit and you hear. I want to talk about that. There are different fingering styles, different ways of fingering the notes. When you're getting all over everywhere and everything's happening, there's different ways of fingering. And they have different principles. There's different guidelines. When do you do what and why? Well, the fingering style that I use and teach is the one that I learned in college, from the last instructor I had. It's done me the most good. It's very reliable, especially when you get nervous. Has certain principles behind it. And one of these principles is when you have to change hand positions, and that's what we're doing here. We're going from here to here. We're changing hand positions. If possible, we will do it on repeated notes. You see in the third line, the first 2 measures are both G's. Yeah, okay, that's a repeated note. Anytime you play a note more than once, it's a repeated note. We change hand positions on repeated notes because to play a repeated note, you got to lift up anyway. You can't connect it like you can here. See, I can connect those notes, but I can't connect that. I have to lift up. So I take advantage of that and move. And that's what we're doing here. You're changing hand positions on repeated notes. I'm going to say that a lot because it happens a lot. It's important. So it's simply from here, and rather than here, this, I don't want to stay in this position. I don't want to lift up and move. I want to crawl around if I can. So here, I'm just going to scrunch up a little bit. I put the third finger over it and then play it. And then once I have it, then I can relax. So I crawled up. I don't recommend moving. That's probably how they have you doing it because in theory it's easier, but that's not how you're actually going to do it. And you're going to do this. Because you can do this back and forth. I can stay in one position and do that. So here. And that's what's happening in the third line. So it's 1, 2, 3, the scrunch up. 2, 3, 4. And then G sharp. And then a G natural. We don't need the natural sign. It's a natural anyway. The problem we have here is it can be confusing. This is the last measure of the third line. They give you a G natural, and it's a natural anyway. So what's the point? They're being clear because you just had a G sharp and they want to make sure you understand this is a G natural. The problem is it can be misleading because you might think, oh, if they didn't have the natural, it'd still be a sharp? No. Yeah, it's a natural anyway. Just understand that's a courtesy sign. That natural, it's a courtesy. They're just being nice to you, being clear. So the last 2 measures of the third line, you're here. 2. And then for the last line, again, it's a repeated note. This is repeated. I'm adding the C, but this is repeated. So I'm going to change on that. Here, put the thumb there. And I'm back where I was. Now, if you look at the third line, you'll see there's actually 3 G's. You have 2 whole notes and a half note. There's 3 of them there. You can change on any of them. You could wait till the last one. And I usually do. But they want you to change on the first one. That's fine too. You need to be able to do it either way. It's just there's no rule says you got to change on the first one. No. You got to change it. When is up to you. Sometimes it depends on what's going on in the other hand. If you're really busy in the other hand, you may hold off changing anything in the left hand for a bit. It depends on the music and the situation. Isn't that fun? Let's put the hands together and see what happens. Here and here. So it's here. Well, we got whole notes in the left hand. Then here. And then here. One and two. Okay. Third line down is different. Remember, you're going to scratch up in the left hand as you're doing that. Anytime, just be ready. Now here, and then we come back. Thumb again, like you were at the first line. Okay, so I'll put the hands together, and then I'll go back over a line at a time or whatever I need, and get rid of any hesitations. Once I get rid of the hesitations, then I think about the articulation. And this is very connected. You lift up at the end of each line for the phrase. So the end of the first line, lift up, like taking a breath. Do that at the end of each line. Then after the articulation, I add the dynamics. F at the beginning, forte, loud, heavy, the melody. This, light, slow. So, third line, now we're soft here. Very soft. You get a crescendo, you're going to go up to loud. Careful. I only go up to about a moderately loud, and you don't want to be moderately loud to the last note here of the third line. So we plan it out. So we start soft, a little louder, loud. I did like 2 beats at a time. Just now I'm loud here. And that's the dynamics. Now there is a repeat sign. You see at the bottom you're going to repeat, but there's a reverse repeat sign at the beginning of the third line. So you're not repeating back to the beginning. You're repeating the last 2 lines. So it's 2 lines longer than it looks. That's all right. Then speed. Careful. This is, No, it moves, but it doesn't have to be really fast here. Something like that. You don't have to take it at that speed. You decide. Remember the natural accents? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. There's actually one on beat 3 too. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. But the first beat of the measure is always the strongest. Exaggerate them if you need to. But when you play it, you just want to feel it. Don't force those accents. They have to be natural. You have to feel them so they happen naturally. Let's play this together slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not doing the louds and softs. We're not doing dynamics. We're not performing it. We're just checking notes and rhythms. 1, 2, ready, go. Two and 3 and 4 and